How's it going, guys? Back with another video, and today we'll be focusing in on yet another film in the Around the World in 100 Films Challenge with film number 9 from South Korea this time, called I Saw the Devil. Now this is a Korean horror film. If you have seen A Tale of Two Sisters, this is the same director who 7 years later has made this film. And let's start off the bat with the brutality in this film, because when I first saw this movie, I wasn't expecting a whole ton, because it was one of my earlier South Korean films that I had seen before Memories of Murder, before Old Boy, and Tale of Two Sisters, or Audition. So I was in for a surprise. This is not your traditional horror film. There's a lot of implied gore and violence. It's about a guy whose wife is murdered, and he sets on this revenge path to find this serial killer and exact his revenge. But not in your typical kind of John Wick fashion. More so, it's more methodical, more planned out. There's more mind games. It takes the definition of torturing someone to another level. The cat and mouse game in this movie is to another level. And what makes this movie so fascinating is that you're not necessarily on board with the main character's decisions. He's very much like an anti-hero. He does some questionable things to really get back at this serial killer and to make him suffer. What's interesting is that every time that he meets with him, he injures him, he hurts him, he finds a way to get back at him and slowly take chunks away at his life, to the point where he's going to be at a situation where he's going to be begging for his own life, just like the serial killer is doing to all of his other victims. In doing so, we're questioning the main character's moral dilemma here. And with him doing this, how much is it really worth it? As we're following the main character's path to set his revenge, we're slowly seeing him change. He's slowly getting more and more violent, and to the point where we're asked as the audience, like, what separates us from the monsters that we're actually trying to get? There's a lot of destruction, there's a lot of chaos, there's a lot of death in this movie, and they're not all caused by the serial killer. And that's what's really unique about this film, is that you don't really have anybody you're really rooting for, but you're watching both of these characters essentially lose their minds. One's already kind of crazy, but what's interesting is that at some point the serial killer is also questioning, like, who is this guy? This guy seems like some kind of lunatic. And this is coming from the crazy guy who's dismembering people and without any mercy, just killing people, and just, like, without spoiling this movie, he does some pretty atrocious stuff within the first 2-3 minutes of this movie. You absolutely hate this guy, and you're on board with our anti-hero and what he's about to do to him, but at the same time you're questioning everything he's doing, because this is not the path that you should probably be going to exact your revenge, though entertaining for sure for a movie like this. Now, what's really unique about this is the perspectives we get. Normally we get that singular POV, and here we get to see both from the antagonist and the anti-hero. We see both of their perspectives, kind of get into their mindset, hang out with some of the other characters that are in their daily life, and that gives us really just like a unique perspective on what's going through their head at each point in the movie. As the film progresses, it just keeps getting more and more intense. You don't really know who's gonna win in this situation, but you're also knowing that there really isn't a clear winner here, because there's just so much destruction, so much murder in this movie, that you're just really watching the downhill trajectory for both characters. Now, this film, like I said, is a brutal watch. There's a lot of implied gore and violence, and it's a difficult film to sit through. But because of the acting and the writing, it sells it so well that to the point where, while it's borderlining a exploitation horror film, it never goes and becomes like some Saw movie or something. And that's really in part because of that writing, because of that acting. And then obviously you have little caveats of the editing. The action is really well filmed, and the cinematography is really good. A lot of the things in this movie on a technical scale is really fantastic. Pacing is nearly perfect. I really think that this film utilizes every moment to tell its story, and nothing drags, and it just keeps everything tense. This is one of the best horror films out there, and if you haven't seen any Korean horror films, I would highly recommend this film, because it's gonna surprise you. It might not be for the faint-hearted, but it's one heck of a horror film, and I 100% recommend people check this film out. That being said, I'm gonna be giving I Saw the Devil a 4.5 out of 5-star rating. One of the best Korean horror films of all time, and more people do need to check it out. With that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Please do comment your thoughts down below if you've seen this film or any other Korean horror films. I'd be curious to hear what movies you have seen and what your thoughts are on this film as well. So do comment that down below. Make sure to hit that thumbs up down below as well, and subscribe to the channel for more content, and I will see you guys in a later video.